How are you able to afford so many clothes? How did you get into the fashion industry?
Yo, I gotta see how I'm gonna set this joint up, man. This is mad far. I hope this works. You know what I'm saying? Gotta hit the hand sanitizer one time before we get started. Yo, what's good, Granny Gang? It's Granny back with another video. Today's video is gonna be a 50-question Q&A. This is pretty much like in celebration of hitting 50,000 subscribers on YouTube and 50,000 followers on Instagram, which is pretty crazy. I really just wanted to say, like, I appreciate y'all for supporting my whole journey through this whole YouTube, IG, fashion life. So I'm gonna be answering 50 questions that you guys asked me on Instagram, and we're gonna start off with some more obvious questions. First question is your full name. My full name is Jaden Grundy. It's pretty much my username on almost everything. So how old are you? I am 23 years old. I just turned 23 in November. How tall are you? I am 6 foot tall. Where were you born? I was born in South Bend, Indiana. I think a lot of people thought I was from Chicago because, like, every time I took a flight, it was from Chicago, O'Hare. So I'm not from Chicago. I'm from South Bend, Indiana, which is only like an hour away from Chicago. So what city do you live in? I currently reside in Los Angeles, California. If you've been keeping up, I just moved here. So been here for about 4.5 months, almost 5 months strong in December. So that's like, yeah, about 4 months. So yeah, man, we chilling in LA now. What's your dream place to live? My dream place to live actually is LA. I think everybody kind of just wants to live here. I did want to live in New York, which I'll probably explain later on in the video. I think there was another question about that. Yeah, man, dream place to live is here, and we here now. So are you still in college? No, I am not in college. I actually stopped going about a year ago. College was cool though. Like, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of dope experiences in college. A lot of different inspirations came from college, believe it or not. Like, I was just taking classes that I was genuinely interested in, and like, it just didn't end up working out for me personally. When did you really start getting into fashion? I really started getting into, I'm gonna say, style in like 2015, 2016, because style and fashion to me are two completely different things. So I really got into like style 2015, 2016. Fashion part of it probably didn't come to like into 2016, 2017. That's when I really started like doing my research on some brands and like what I thought was dope and what I was hearing was dope and stuff like that. So how did you find the confidence to wear whatever you like? This question comes up very, very often. I feel like this is one of them things that a lot of people kind of like deal with when they're finding their own style, especially earlier. Me personally, I would just say I took my L's early. Like, when I first, like, I never get bullied, like, don't get me wrong, but like whenever people would like talk about how I was dressing was like mad early, like freshman year of high school, bro. So I was always that kid wearing like skinny jeans. I was a skater, so I definitely wore like skinny jeans. I had like the super sky tops. I had the Vans. Like, I was definitely the skater kid, and I hooped. So it was like the people I was around wasn't really used to like that style of dressing. So they definitely was like, "Oh, what are you wearing? Like, you lame, like different stuff like that." But like, it never really got to me to the point where I wanted to stop wearing what I wanted to wear. I was still myself at the end of the day, so it was like, you know what I'm saying, you're just gonna have to accept it at this point. So your style inspo. People I looked up to, especially when beginning, was definitely A$AP Rocky. He probably introduced me to like that mix of high end to streetwear. He definitely was a big inspo. Ian Connor was a huge inspo. Say what you want about Ian Connor, bro. He definitely pioneered like that whole wave of being able to be cool without being a rapper. Like, if it wasn't for him, honestly, we wouldn't have like the light set on us as like the fashion community and be able to like navigate throughout the internet. That's what he really taught me, was to like go about this whole like internet deal and work your way up through the internet to the actual fashion industry. So definitely was a huge inspo. Travis Scott was a huge inspo. Him and Rocky was definitely like where I first like wanted to get like my hair braided and stuff like that. Obviously I moved on to the twists, but airplanes going across and stuff. But like, yeah, man, that's the whole gist of it. A$AP Rocky, Ian Connor, Travis Scott is probably like the bigger inspos. When did you first start or begin your YouTube and IG career? My IG started in 2016. That was the first time I ever posted a fit pic. I didn't even have any social medias before that time. So you can actually scroll down on my Instagram and see my first pic to this day. Go comment, we came a long way on my very first Instagram picture if you're interested. YouTube started in 2017. YouTube, I had definitely was like, all right, I gotta find another like creative space to throw my style on and give more explanation on like my taste, I guess you could say. Dream before YouTube, I definitely wanted to be a hooper. I was a hooper all throughout high school, and I was gonna play in college, but just like, it was a bit more complicated. Definitely if you was to ask me like in high school what I would want to be, definitely would have been a hooper. Why did you choose to move to LA? Okay, this was what I was getting to earlier. Originally, I did want to move to New York. That's why I went out there to visit. If you guys have seen like my previous video where I went to New York, I went there to kind of like scope out and feel out where I want to live. I knew I didn't want to live in South Bend, Indiana anymore, bro. It was just like one of those places that you just gotta move out from or else you're never gonna grow. So I was gonna move to New York, but when comparing the prices and looking at the LA prices, LA and New York are probably the most expensive places you can live in the US, and they have the most opportunities and all that. So I was like, you know what, you can get more money or more space for your money in LA. And then at the same time, like I had a homie that was moving out here as well, which is actually my roommate right now. Like everything kind of like lined up perfectly to move to LA. It's mad chill here. The vibe is a lot different. New York was pretty like fast paced and like in your face, which is cool, like don't get me wrong, but like I think LA is just a vibe, bro. It's also easier to meet mad people here, and everybody here is like pretty friendly for the most part. So this is definitely like a cool place to live. If you're talking to someone new and they ask you what you do, what do you tell them? This is a very, very good question. There's usually 3 different options that I go with. I will usually tell somebody I work in social media, I am a YouTuber, or a stylist. Occasionally I'll be like I'm a model, but that's like on occasion. All 3 of these really depends on who I'm talking to. The first one, I will probably say I work in social media if I'm talking to like somebody of the older generation, because really like they don't be understanding like how we make money or how you can make a career out of just being on social media. So like I would just tell them I work on social media. The YouTube thing is something I would tell people, especially if they see me like holding a camera, or it's like someone young, or like they just ask me what I do, I would be like, yeah, I do YouTube. Like it's something like that most people at this point kind of understand. And then the third one, stylist, is like when I'm in a fashion environment and like I'm around creatives, I'll be like I'm a stylist, because I feel like that gives you more of a, like has a little bit more respect on it if you ask me. So that's definitely a model. I'll probably just tell a shorty or something, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty young dude. So I'll be like, you know what I'm saying, I'm a model, you dig? Even though I'm not like an official model, I'm not signed model or nothing like that, but I don't know, like sometimes it is cool to say. I'm not gonna hold you. Do you consider yourself as an influencer or a brand? I would consider myself both. The influencer thing kind of gets to me sometimes, because like I feel like right now people are taking like that influencer title and putting it on people of like a whole category of people, which can kind of like suck the talent out of it. Because a lot of influencers are just like pretty faces, and I think people are like kind of putting you in that category of like the untalented people who just have clout and make money off of it, which I don't feel like that's me. I feel like there's a lot more talent and there's a lot more concept and backing behind what I do. I would say both. How'd you get into the fashion industry? I would say I got into the fashion industry purely based off influence. I know I just had like a whole spiel on like influencer, but I think my influence personally has definitely gotten my foot into a lot of doors that I probably wouldn't be in if it wasn't for that. How have you made your connections, and how successful has freelancing been? I have made probably all of my connections through the internet. I know a lot of people try to like bash social media as making people unconnected, but the internet is where I've gotten every single one of my connections, especially being from South Bend. Like I just moved here, so you kind of have to be in like a genre that you want to be in to get connected with other people, and that just was non-existent in the city I was in. So every person that I met was through the internet. Every brand that I connected with was through the internet. So as far as how successful freelancing has been, okay, like I think everyone thinks freelancing is kind of like cool, but like there's a lot of pros and cons to freelancing. The pros is you get to kind of do whatever you want on your schedule and on your time. But the cons is like, okay, let me break it down for y'all. Freelancing, if you are not like super consistent or super wanted, it can kind of be like big gaps in between like your jobs or payments. So the cons can definitely be like, okay, maybe you make a lot of money this month and then next month you don't make that much money. So that's like one of the biggest cons. But if you really like on top of your game, you should be pretty straight with money. How do you make connections in the art scene as a photographer? What I've seen and how I've met a lot of photographers is just through different events. Like just pull up to places that photographers are needed and where photographers are at, and then you would definitely like genuinely make connections. What was your first job? Yo, so I used to work at this place called A's Rental, which was a rental company. So people rented things for like outdoors, like tents, chairs, tables, and stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie, like that was my first job, and that was the hardest job I've ever had, ever. And that was one of those things that mentally I was like, I will never work this physically hard ever again in my life. My second job was at a call center. So pretty much we would call people that were just out of the hospital. So we would kind of like have them rate their visit at the hospital. So I'd say something like,
hello, this is Jaden Grundy from such and such company. I'm here to give an evaluation on your recent stay at such and such hospital.
And like, it was just, that was something that like, I don't know, really broke me out of my comfort zone and really helped me like talk to people, especially over the phone, because people is ruthless, bro. Avenues of income aside from YouTube. First of all, YouTube doesn't pay a lot of money. Well, they don't pay me a lot of money. I don't get the amount of views that really like gets you a huge YouTube check. I think, well, most of my income comes from just like sponsorships, Instagram promos, or whatever it may be. I do other stuff on the side, like styling and stuff like that, or just other random jobs that I might slip into. But YouTube don't pay that much money, bro. Like, I'm just doing this just cause like it does help me have a platform to like get other brand deals and stuff like that. But YouTube itself, the ad revenue, I don't make hardly nothing off that, bro. So what's a good store to start shopping at when you finally get a job? This is a very open-ended question. It can kind of go a lot of ways because there's so many places to shop. Where I personally started shopping when I first got my job was a more affordable place like Urban Outfitters. That's like one of those places where you can kind of just get some good quality stuff for not that much money. I shopped at maybe like ASOS, those type of places when I first started off. Also thrifted as well. Like thrift shopping is like, come on, man, you can't mess up with thrift shopping. So you can get a bunch of clothes from thrifting and a bunch of fire pieces that nobody else has. That was like one of my things is I didn't want to go to the mall and shop. Like I never really was like a mall shopper. So that's how I went with that. Where's a good place to buy designer? This is a really good question because there aren't like, obviously you can get designer from a lot of different places, but my go-to place right now is Farfetch. Like I always end up going to Farfetch to see what they got, to kind of see like an updated collection. They always have good sales. So definitely Farfetch is like my number one place to hit up instantly. How are you able to afford so many clothes? Money. No, I'm just playing. But fortunately, I'm in a better position to be able to get clothes and also have a little bit of money in my pocket to spend on clothes. So it's kind of just like a cool balance for me personally right now. If you had to pick for the rest of your life, would you rather wear vintage or high end? I'm gonna go with vintage, but vintage can be high end. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with vintage, especially because like some of my favorite pieces are from like that 2000s era. So I'm gonna go with vintage for that question, but there's like also a lot of high end pieces that I like. Eventually, like that's gonna become vintage. So I'm gonna just play it safe and go with vintage for right now. What is your favorite decade of fashion? I would say my favorite decade of fashion would probably be from 2000 to like 2010. Like I would say all of my favorite like pieces are from that era. Definitely like some Junior, like some like Issey Miyake, Stone Island pieces are like, there's some crazy pieces. There's definitely a bunch of like Margiela pieces. Rick and Raph, of course, but I also do like some like 70s Vivienne Westwood. Like there's a lot of dope stuff, but I definitely say like that 2000s to 2010 era. But I'm also say like from kind of like 2010 to 2020, like just because right in between like that 2016 to now, or just like, no, I'd say 2016 to like 2018 was like my favorite. Like I had the most fun in that time period. Like fashion was just like really like fun and interesting, and you had like a different feeling when you got a piece or something like you know what I'm saying? Like that was just a fire time for the whole fashion culture in general. What's your favorite look you ever posted on your IG? My favorite look would definitely have to be the joint where I wore the Off-White Odysseys, where I had like a desert minimal like jacket. I think I had like a teal sweater under it with the red pants. I'll put a picture up, of course, but that's probably like one of the hardest outfits I think I put together so far, at least. Like clearly I'm not even on the level that I'm finna be on, but as of right now, like that's the hardest fit in my opinion. Favorite project you've worked on? I like a lot, like pretty much all the projects I've worked on. I think one of the biggest ones I've worked on was the one with Calvin Klein. I don't know if you guys seen the video, but that was definitely like the most interesting, most next level project that I got to work on, just because it was Calvin Klein, and that's probably like the biggest look I've ever had. They posted it and all of that, so that's probably like one of the craziest joints I ever did, bro. That and like starting my own like little clothing merch and stuff like that. So how do you do so many collabs? This is a very good question, because I feel like even people bigger than me don't do as many collabs. And one of the things is, I think people are not afraid of,
it's Corona time.
oh shoot, I think a lot of people are kind of like afraid of like selling out, even though I don't believe I've sold out. I believe I've just like taken like steps to get bigger. Like I've definitely worked with bigger brands, and they have gotten my name out there to other big brands, and then I just kind of like expand, so like everybody will end up knowing about me. Like that was my biggest thing, is I wanted to navigate my way through being on bigger companies so that more people will be able to see me. And I think a lot of people are so caught up in that like underground fashion scene that they almost like hold themselves back from doing a lot of different collabs. And I'm not one of those people. I definitely think I can look fire in anything. So I've done big things with like JCPenney, Urban Outfitters, PacSun. A lot of like more mainstream companies have allowed me to get other type of collabs and brand deals. How can I gain a platform? How can I effectively market myself and network? I think just uniqueness and relating to like a specific crowd will definitely help you grow like a lot faster than you think, because everybody has like their own individual story. So if you relate to them, they're gonna relate to you, and they're gonna follow more of what you do. So the second half of that was, how can I effectively market myself and network? Market yourself by just interacting with people in your same genre. Like you're not going to be able to market yourself to a bunch of people who like aren't into the same thing you're into. So if you're into fashion or you're into photography, go to fashion or photography event. When you're on the internet, interact with people who are into the same type of stuff you're into. Best places to shop in LA. There's a current list being created since I've been out here. I'm gonna make a video on it, so I really don't want to spoil it, but just know there's a lot of fire shops out here. I'm still waiting to get those like real underground shops so I can really put y'all on, but I haven't quite navigated the whole city yet like that. So how to pose for a good photo? I think honestly, just posing for a good photo is just practice. Just take a lot of pictures and you'll slowly start to see like what works for you and stuff like that. So just practice and practice and practice. Shoot with people that you're comfortable with, so that they kind of know like you're building still. How do you model streetwear? I don't quite know what you mean by this question all the way. I'm assuming there's like two ways you can go about it. You're either asking, how do you model like for streetwear brands and stuff like that? I would say it's just based off like good taste. I guess you can say like kind of model streetwear. So if you're talking about how to be a model in streetwear, that's more of like, you gotta be a model. You gotta be signed to an agency and stuff like that. So where do you get inspiration for your fits? I can get inspiration honestly from like anywhere, bro. Like I can literally walk down the street, see somebody's outfit and think it's fire, and be like, yo, I seen them wearing this piece, like let me see what that piece is talking about. Mix and match it in my own way. But like recently, I think I just got a lot of inspiration from different stuff that I've seen. Like I'd be seeing like a lot of like editorials, a lot of different videos and stuff like that, and it kind of just all kind of has an impact on my taste. Definitely even like rap and hip hop as a culture has definitely like influenced a lot of stuff that I wear. Scrolling through the internet, I might see a piece that's fire, I might see a designer that's fire and see what they put out for that season, and I might be like, yo, I can put this with that. So favorite brand or favorite brand at the moment? I think my overall favorite brand, especially early on, was definitely Stussy and Nike. Stussy was one of them brands that I got into when I was skating, so I was just like a Stussy fan. Stussy was like my supreme, you know what I'm saying? So like Stussy, everything that came out I thought was fire, and like I would always try to like put my first like little bit of money and buy me a couple of Stussy pieces or something like that. Nike was just always been a childhood favorite. Like Nike's fire, bro. I used to hoop, so I've always had Nikes. As far as like current brands right now, I'm definitely a huge fan of Matthew Williams and Alix. So Alix is up there. Huge fan of Virgil, so like anything he's pretty much kind of like worked his way into. I've recently been a huge fan of Reese Cooper. I think he has a lot of dope pieces. He has a lot of like dope ready to wear stuff. I like his t-shirts and graphics. Also like Ev Bravado and Who Decides War is his brand, so they're definitely like some of the designers I've always like kept my eye out on. When is the right time to update your wardrobe? Always at the end of the season. Like at the end of every season is like the easiest time to update your wardrobe because a lot of stuff goes on sale, and when it's on sale you can buy it for the next season. So definitely like end of every season. Fall is probably like the greatest time you can ever shop, ever do anything in fashion. So definitely the end of season, man. Any advice on growing Instagram followers? That's pretty simple. At this point, I think just finding a lane. Like if you just find a lane, you will gravitate people to exactly what you're doing. If you try to be like everywhere and try to do everything, people are going to be confused. Some people are going to be here for this. Some people are going to be here for that. Do you buy most of your clothes or are mostly from brands sending you stuff? Right now, it's mostly from brands sending me stuff. I'm in a pretty fortunate position to where if I'm trying to show something off, I usually can find my way to getting it somehow. But if not, like I still spend money on clothes, bro. Don't get me wrong. It's just not as much as when I was starting off. So I've definitely tried to spend my money more on like more expensive pieces. Favorite rapper? My all-time favorite rapper is Lil Wayne. That's probably like top of the list. But top 5 currently right now is probably like Travis Scott, Young Thug, Tyler the Creator, Uzi, and I put Playboi Carti in there for right now. If you can only wear one outfit for the rest of your life, what would it be, including shoes? First of all, this is like an impossible question, bro, because there's so many different outfit combinations you can go with for the rest of your life. But I will give you a couple of grails that's been on my list right now. I'm trying to get that Chrome Hearts camo bucket hat, the one with like the patches on it. I'll put a picture up, but definitely trying to get a hold of that joint. But I think I seen it going for like 2 bands, so probably gonna have to wait until I can somehow achieve that level. But another piece that has always been a grail of mine is the Margiela H&M jacket, which I think came out in like 2015, the one with the belt. So that's like always been like on my list. So those are 2 things that are kind of like grail pieces on my list right now. Do you do your own hair? Yes, I do my own hair because I haven't found a hairstylist out here yet. Your hair routine? Usually my hair routine is a full day because I have a lot of twists. I have some pretty long hair. So my hair routine usually consists of waking up, I will wash my hair, I will put conditioner on it, detangle it, wash my hair, blow dry my hair, and I will start twisting it from there. I've been learning because I didn't do my hair when I was in South Bend, so I've definitely been learning and getting better at it. But skin routine, so I would say I have pretty clear skin. I definitely keep a lot of maintenance. I always got like a fresh lineup. I always got my face shaved and stuff like that. But like as far as washing my face and keeping my face clean, I use baking soda. I don't know if that's good for your skin. I heard it's not. I heard it is. But I use baking soda because I have like some oily skin. So I definitely like use baking soda to scrub all the dirt, keep it like nice and dry so that I can put more moisture on it. But I wash my face with baking soda. I use cold water every time, and I use a cotton ball, and I put I put witch hazel on it. So I put witch hazel on after I scrub my face with baking soda because that kind of like helps your pores and it like takes down inflammation. So from scrubbing your face, you kind of like recover from putting that on. What advice would you give someone trying to get into fashion? I would just say take your time, do a little bit of research before you actually hop into it. You can always like find your own style and experiment, but like as far as getting into fashion, I think that knowledge is key. Having some type of experience will kind of like get your foot in the door. I got my foot in the door just by like my own personal style, my own taste, and learning along the way. So how do you feel about fit pics during the coronavirus? I mean, we are kind of like in the same space right now where you can't really go out. So what's the perfect chain length? Kind of just depends on your taste. I would say probably like 18 to 20. If I don't feel any of my clothes one day, what do I do? This is a very great question because I definitely know where you're coming from. Sometimes you just go in your closet and you like, dang, bro, like, I don't want to wear none of this. But I think at that point, you just need to go shopping. But if you cannot go shopping, you can definitely try to just come back and piece together clothes in a different way that you wouldn't have pieced it before. Can you do something so your fans can meet, like a meet and greet? I always wanted to do this, man. Couple of reasons that's been holding me back. One, I don't know how to go about it. I definitely want to do one here or wherever I go that's like a place where people will want to meet me, I guess you can say. I want to go about it in like a dope way where it's like a release of something of mine. So if it's like a release party or something like that, I would definitely want like mad people to come. Another thing that I think would be fire is just like meeting somebody on like a block and we all go shopping. Bro, imagine mad people like being deep on like one block just shopping on like Melrose or Fairfax or in New York and Soho or something. Like that would be fire, bro. I don't care what nobody say. What would you say made you successful? First of all, success is kind of like person to person, but I would say what got me to this point right here is just like patiently waiting on the time for you. Because I kid you not, like if you try to rush things, like it just won't work out for you. Even like 2 years ago, I was like wondering why I was still stuck in South Bend and like why I haven't moved yet and stuff like that. But like the different things that I went through definitely like made me realize this is why you had to wait. You feel me? So definitely be patient, be consistent with whatever you're doing. Like consistency is key. If you don't have that, you're gonna struggle, bro. If you're not consistent, you won't get consistent results. Lastly is just setting goals, bro. What's next with the clothing line? Designs and more stuff is definitely being worked on. Right now, I'm kind of figuring out the whole situation out here as far as manufacturing and finding different resources to get clothes made. So what's the most important advice you could give someone? Now, this might sound kind of cliche, but like whatever you want to do, first of all, do it. But whatever you do want to do, like make sure that you start. Starting is literally the hardest part. I've seen a lot of people, even like people that I know personally, that just kind of got stuck with just not starting. Like literally starting would just get the ball rolling on whatever you're trying to do, bro. I'm telling you. As soon as you start, you'll first of all be able to see if it's for you or not. You might not like it. So you might be wasting your time if you don't start. And also like don't set yourself to something that's like unreachable right from the start. Like that can be your initial goal, but like what was that quote that like Will Smith say? I think it was something like you're like when you want to build a wall, your goal isn't to build a wall. Like you don't start with the wall. You have to like lay every brick, you know what I'm saying, as best as you can. And then eventually like you'll get to a wall. So like, I don't know. There's like a couple of stuff that I definitely live by, and just like doing what you want to do in life. So appreciate y'all for watching, man. I'll definitely be back to y'all with more videos. I got to get more creative in the house now, I guess you could say. I'll probably still be able to do like small little hauls and stuff like that, and then like informational videos. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram. Go subscribe if you haven't yet. Smash the like button on this video so we can continue to grow. We are at 50K. Let's try to hit 100K, man. If I got this far, we can double it, man. The Grundy Gang community gets stronger. That's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching the video. I'm out.